It's Majic 102.3 and 92.7, VJ in the midday. So, you know, it is always an honor when legends enter the building with timeless hits like Feels Good, If I Had No Loot, and of course the Grammy-nominated Anniversary. They're the standard in this musical dynasty. I want to welcome Raphael Saadiq, D'Wayne Wiggins, and Timothy Riley. Toni. Hello. Can y'all hear?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure everybody headphones good. How you fellas doing?
We're good.
Really good.
Good.
Beautiful
Oh, man.
Monday morning.
Monday, yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what day is what when, you know, you're on the run. And
We're on California time. That's all.
Oh, y'all still on California time?
Just a little bit.
Okay. All right. So we got the coffee on deck, right?
Yeah.
The ginseng, the green tea, whatever you like.
See, you know.
Yeah. So 25 years it has been since you guys entered, you know, the studio together and getting back to doing this tour. I first want to know, I know a lot of people ask, like, well, how was it when you guys got back together after 25 years? But I want to know what that very first studio session was like for you guys.
Well, studio sessions, we just kind of hang out. It's nothing serious, you know. We just to hang out. Dwayne's my bro. Tim's my friend. So it's just like riding a bike. It's not anything. Just, you know, we just got to show up. We show up and it's on, you know. That's basically it.
Did you guys know that you were making magic at the time? Like, hey, we have something special here. When we all get together and do this musical thing, I add a little this, he adds a little bit of this. Did y'all know y'all were making magic in the classics that you had?
Shoot.
Or were you just having fun? Because it seemed like you were just having fun.
It's you know, a lot of the stuff that we wrote reaches back to us sitting in the living room just jamming, the three of us, you know.
Yeah.
But we grew up listening to, you know, songs versus tunes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always tried to, you know, fade songs about like the Isley Brothers or Earth, Wind and Fire and stuff like that. And we didn't really figure out that we were writers until like the second album. The first album was produced by Foster McElroy, so we learned a lot from them. And after that, we knew we wanted to try it, and you know, songs like
the bar was really high.
Yeah.
I'll say that the bar was really high when we came out. You know what I mean? So you couldn't really, if you looked at the real things, the bar was really high. So we really couldn't half step. Yep. But you had to have fun too, you know.
Yeah, and you know, I learned something new as I was like doing research and looking back at your career and everything. I was like, I don't think I knew they went on tour with NWA. Like that was something that I was very shocked to hear about that. Because you had Salt and Pepper, JJ Fad, you had NWA, of course.
Hammer.
And Hammer was like, it was crazy back then. So here's Toni in the mix of it. What was like something that was memorable
our
from
first
that?
tour was with Earth, Wind and Fire first.
Yeah, but that was pretty. That was not as crazy as
no, that
NWA.
No,
that was just our dream.
Yes.
But the NWA thing was like we didn't know what was going on. I think we were on the tour really because we were a band. It's like for insurance reasons. If you have a band on, it wasn't our rap groups. The insurance was a little cheaper.
Wow.
That's what I thought. Years later.
But like when you were in that moment, right? And this is so you have all these hardcore like hip hop groups and all of that. Yep. And you guys are partying. Y'all have, you know, dance music, you have R&B. What were some of the memories that you can...
I must say this.
Okay, go ahead.
We're from Oakland, all right? 100%.
Okay.
So we blended in very naturally. and one thing for sure, you know, people, if you look at our first album, they didn't know if we were an R&B group or a rapper or not because you don't see any instruments. It's just the three of us in our heads. So Earth, Wind and Fire, when you think about that, they didn't know we were a band. When we first got on the stage with them and at Red Rocks in Denver, you know, we came out, we had our own band with our equipment and stuff, and they was like, here's your sound check, and it was just 3 mics, and we was like, well, where do we set up our instruments? They're like, you guys you got instruments? Like, yeah, we're a band. So they found out we were a band. So which tells me that was good from going from Earth, Wind and Fire to NWA.
Yeah,
we fit because we came out as a band with them, but we were R&B. We were from Oakland. So
I mean, behind the scenes, like, did you guys like off mic? Did you guys hang out? How was that hanging out with like
Yeah.
the crew, and that's just so interesting to me.
I mean, I think that's when me and Ice Cube became friends.
Oh, okay.
Because I hung with Ice Cube the whole tour.
Oh wow.
So he would tell me stuff like, we stayed at like Motel 6s, like really like.
Where it had the actual key.
Yeah. So, and I remember Cube telling me, he said, after this, man, I think I'm gonna do movies. So I was with him, before when he was talking about doing movies. So, yeah, so we Eazy-E, we all hung out with everybody. Hammer was super supportive of each other, the Bay. And it was like a big family thing with everybody, I think.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
remember
it.
7 or 8 buses on the road, back to back, food fights, and the whole bit.
Now, did y'all have an entourage then?
Nah, no
Okay.
entourages. We didn't really do that.
Okay.
Our band was big
The
enough.
band was
The band
big
was
enough.
big
yeah.
So when you guys get together and you get into the studio, what would you say are like the main ingredients to create a timeless record? What is that for you?
A guitar. What you saying?
Oh,
Well,
they listen.
well,
I would say,
Some people would say, yeah.
guitars, believing in each other, you know what I mean? Each other's qualities of what we do and remembering what we do and remembering the past and remember that we going forward too, right? So we just got to remember like it's always a lot of great music out there. It's a lot of competition and, healthy competition is always great for us.
Now, when it comes to creative differences though, because I know it's not like you guys don't agree all the time.
Oh, yeah, we do on music.
Do you?
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's never been anything where it's like, nah, I don't like that one. Maybe we should do this, or like where you had to take a vote.
Nah.
3 of y'all, so.
Nah, only time I remember D'Wayne came when we was writing this one record and D'Wayne wrote, he came in the studio like we should write a song called My Ex-Girlfriend's a Hoe.
Oh, man.
And I was like, really? Right. And I was like, I don't think so. So we did the music and then D'Wayne actually walked in the studio and sang the whole hook by himself. And it sounded amazing. And we were like, oops, guess we got to sing this song.
So what was the motivation for I mean, what had happened, D'Wayne?
Long story short, driving on my way to Sacramento, Tim and Raphael were in Sacramento. I was in Oakland at the time, back and forth. And I saw a friend of mine who was, I had a big crush on. She really wasn't my girlfriend, but in my mind she was. And had so much, and I saw her on the strip. And it was easy. And I was like, wow. It just made me feel some type of way. On my way down there, I just thought, damn, man, that was like my girlfriend. And she a hoe. And that just came out. But the story behind it, Raphael wrote the lyrics and just summed it up. It was all the type of things that this young lady was doing and did. She just said, if that was your brother, you definitely would have called her.
Yeah.
But she wasn't doing that. But we just created a storyline. But that's how it all came about.
So, we think about like a lot of...
Hey, man, you wanted it. Look, it's Monday morning.
That was a good one.
That was
looking like what?
You going with that one. You going with that one.
I can't make these things up.
Whenever you tell me...
like it.
You're going to get it. You know one thing about being in this business that long? We ain't got nothing to hide. It's all out there. We 100% what it is. And I have to say, everything we wrote is probably something we experienced.
And we slightly kind of comedians and kind of funny behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So like we just say a lot of crazy stuff off the air that we
Right.
can never say.
Right.
But that's just one. So that story, I'm not saying the story is not true. But it's true. It was great.
I love the brotherhood, though. I was listening to y'all playlist on the way in, and Anniversary came on, of course. And when we say timeless and a song that just continues to give people life and people love that record, when you finished it, when everything was done and y'all were like, all right, we're about to put it out, did you know how huge of an impact this song would be? That's my first question to that song, about that song.
I thought it was a good song. You never know, until you hear it, right? Till people hear it. Yeah. But we just felt really good about it. For me, I just felt like we had to hand over music to a record label. Mm-hmm. And every time we handed in records, we wanted to feel like we handed in the right thing. So we don't really know. We know it was a good song, but we didn't know until now.
How many people have thanked y'all for that song? Like, this is like, I love it. I play it because it's not just weddings, okay? Any type of anniversary you celebrate where it's people are like, dun, 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 and it's just like it comes on, and we're like, dang, this is like this has been such a big record for them, and it continues.
I feel like that record is a huge record for us, but even Whatever You Want, it's like right there. It's, I hear more people come to me talking about.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Whatever you
want. Maybe because I love it so much. I'm like, so what about anniversary? Y'all like, yeah, it was okay. I mean, we put it out. Because I'm like, who idea was it to put I guess those are violins. Please don't.
It's violins,
get on the violins.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so when you say for you, and it goes into that, like, whose idea was that? Because that was genius.
That was actually, the song was done actually, and I forget the guy who played with Benjamin, right? Claire did it, but this other guy from another session came in to get his paycheck from another session. And he was like over the orchestra. And he came in and asked him could he play this line, which is a line from Al Green. I can't believe that it's true. The things that you put me through. It's really that line played. Yeah.
Yeah, so we pull a lot of
love
that. That was genius.
Yeah. It really was. I was like, I gotta ask about that. So, D'Wayne, you said that Toni has been the soundtrack to people's lives.
And we kind of woke ourselves up.
Wow.
From that whole experience.
Yeah.
Even getting our record deal was all new experience. We never cared about the money. You know what I mean? People talk about, we got a bad deal. There's no such thing as a bad deal. It's a deal. You see, you put the work in and build it. We got about 6 G's each when we signed. You know what I mean? The people talk about, it wasn't we the money. Take care of yourself and go out there and touch other spirits and soul and uplift, and then you're winning to us. But when we saw what the songs and what publishing was about, okay, then we started, getting more into it. But that's
and did you guys always was it that experience, I should say, that made you want to understand the business a little bit more? Because a lot of artists do go into it and they don't know about publishing. They don't know how they could make more money off of their creative ideas and their work. So was it a certain moment? Because I don't know, maybe were you guys green going in? Like, we just want to do music.
It's no way not to be green if your mother and father are not in the industry, right? Like three generations. We are the first generation, first family that got this far in the business. But like anything, if you're playing a sport, if you're shooting the ball, you want the ball to go in, right? People watching. So once we got into it, you didn't want to look like you didn't know. So you got to educate yourself for the next time. So I think, but we, like you said, we did it for the love of it, in the beginning. But as soon as you start hearing the music and you want to know about publishing, you want to tell people really own your publishing. Yeah. 50-50 is not bad, but if you can own it, it's better.
Yeah.
And, just tell kids, remember to sign your own checks.
Ooh, were there any OGs that looked out for y'all in that way? Like, hey, y'all need to be asking for this, or y'all need to be doing that.
Yeah, I had a couple. Ray Parker Jr. was one. Whitney Houston's dad, father, and rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
And Babyface, Kenny.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Kenny Edmonds was like.
You thought DJ Face was Babyface, and I was like, I wish that Babyface could come up in here. So, Timothy, you, I was reading that you wrote "It Never Rains" in Southern California.
It rains sometimes.
I wanted to tell you that because my first time going, I was like, wait a minute. I know people have always said
false prophet. People call it false prophet.
But how did that song come together? I like to sometimes deconstruct like how the magic actually happened for you.
The song was something I wrote one night, just kind of fooling around at home musically. I took it to Raphael. We were hanging out in Los Angeles. I took it to his room and just had a cassette tape and like threw it to him and left. And a couple hours, came back. He had the hook for it.
Yeah, and I wrote it. Yeah, he came in. He was on his way to the mall. He said, here. And he gave it to me, and I heard the music. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Okay.
And I think we already had a deal with the second album, and Tim's uncle has this little small church, and we went back to visit that church. And we went to play for this church on a Sunday, just hung out. Then after that, we drove out to Sausalito to the studio, and we recorded it on a Sunday. We had the idea like a couple weeks before, recorded on a Sunday. And
God blessed it.
And it just
God blessed it on Sunday.
Pretty much that was it.
Because I know after that, people were like, It does, actually. It does rain. It does.
Man, and D'Wayne came in. D'Wayne walked in the studio when we was done and was like, you know, because D'Wayne at that time, D'Wayne was just hogging the whole studio, right? So we had to record. We had to record on Sunday.
On the weekend. Yeah.
On the weekends.
Wow, okay.
So D'Wayne walked in and looked at us like, "Oh, y'all boys try to get busy, huh?" We like, "What kind of shit is that?" And then D'Wayne walked past us and said, "Only thing that's missing is this one part." He said, "Now it may be cold on the East Coast." We looked at him like, "Yep, okay, let's add it." So that's how it works. So we never really have any disagreements, right? Because we're so connected.
Oh, so that's how.
We're so connected.
3 different personalities, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
And I'm really realizing that after we never tripped off. People say, "You guys gonna do new music?" We do new music all the time. It's just in us. And we never, we may go back later and pull parts and then produce it, but we got a ton of things we just jam and do together, and they end up on our projects. Like Thinking of You was something on the side note. We was just jamming. I didn't even know we did it.
Right.
We pulled it up at the photo shoot for the last album, and I was like, "Man, when did Al Green do that song?" He was, "Fool, that's us." It's like, when we do that? We came in 2 in the morning, remember, after the club and sisters.
So when you say that you guys have 3 different personalities, I want to hear from you. Like, what do you think your personalities are?
Well, in terms of when it comes down to musical,
Yes,
I like to have
yourself.
fun on tracks. I like to write hooks up that'll suck you in and whatever else. And then racing is the lyrical content of it, and you know, I'm playing on that. But we also like we trip with different harmonies. Like sometimes when he said like you went in there and sung the whole backgrounds, whatever, it's like I slow the tape down. Notice I'm saying tape. Back then we would
With the tape, yeah.
So when I slow it down a couple of ticks, when I speed it back up, we're brothers. We speak the sort of the same, but you speed it back up, I sound like him. So, and then with this dude is so, to me, I'm just giving you my.
Right, I want to see you.
He is a silent nut. He's the genius. Tim is the one who has perfect pitch and all that.
Yeah.
We play by ear. We just go. So.
Tim don't have perfect pitch.
He does.
No.
Uh-oh.
All right, we gonna see today.
We be out of tune. Oh, you just started it. Now.
He
I
might.
was about to say, does anybody correct anybody? Like, if you don't quite hear, because if y'all say y'all play by ear and you are probably locked in musically and a note is slightly off or someone missed the key a little bit, do y'all give each other looks like, I'm gonna get you, we'll talk about that later? Or,
I mean,
I heard that, bro.
I think we both, me and D'Wayne both are not like natural born singers. You know what I mean? So we sing flat and sharp all the time, but that's the vibe.
Oh.
Hey.
That's the vibe.
Hey.
You know what? That's the new thing. That's the vibe.
That's the vibe.
Anything, that's
but
the
Tim,
vibe.
Speak on Tim.
Feels good, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, feels good. It's like in all kind of keys. I'm singing like, man, me and Keisha Cole are winning in that joint. But
That's family.
She's family though. She's from
yeah.
But Tim is like really the glue. He's like a glue. He plays keyboards. He plays songs. Sometimes he don't even know that he's wrote a song. You have to, as he's written something, you have to be there to catch it. Like I'll be like, "What'd you just play?"
Yeah.
He'll be like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?"
Right.
I'm like, so I would.
Okay, give me an example of that moment, like when that may have happened.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
So back in the day, we used to be at a church. You know how you're at church and you're playing like some mood music. So I'll
playing
be
organ though, B3.
Yeah, so I'm just playing something, and he's sitting by me
On the drums.
and he'll just hit me and be like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because really, I'm really just playing,
moving
not
around.
even really paying attention.
That's
Yes.
what we call music from the soul.
Oh,
like
yeah.
just
Yeah,
from your
you-
heart.
Like last night, that long ass solo he took.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to catch Tim. Yeah.
What happened, Tim?
He
What
had some
happened in that
strings going
moment?
on. He's orchestrating the whole house, and I was looking, okay, that's hot. After all, I was like, "Hey, bro."
All right, so it's time to wrap it up now.
Yeah. Wrap it up. And we just right now on the tour, we like trying to make the tour flow a little bit. So we're trying different things every night. And when Tim has his solo, we're trying to figure it out because we trying to give Tim some light.
Yeah.
Trying to find the best way to show Tim's talent. And I know what his talent is, so I'm like trying to figure it out between me and him. Because he don't talk that much either, you know. So you ask him a question, he'll look at you for like 20 seconds.
That's good. He's getting his thoughts together. Because
Call him
sometimes.
say that.
20 seconds. Like he's like 20 seconds looking at you like, what you think we should maybe like? Then he's like, I'm
So
used to it.
y'all have so much fun together, you know, when you guys are together, especially now it seems when y'all are touring. And I was reading that Toni. So I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. And so I learned that Toni was originally like a joke between you guys. So
it was.
this is what I read.
The name, yeah.
Yeah, the name. And so, like, what made it stick?
This is
Like,
another
what made
D'Wayne
y'all
story. This is his story.
No. I mean, we all have different,
versions of?
but it's all the same.
What was it before?
Well, for me at my time,
Like before?
it was just a style to me that, well, we came up with a name for a certain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
climate.
What was the name before Toni? Like,
Well, we had separate bands. We was in a
oh,
group
it wasn't
called Hot
one.
Water.
Okay.
I was an Alpha Omega, but Toni was just a name to me as a character we came up with because I liked vintage clothing, shopping, all that type of things. So if you look at some of the early pictures, you'll see us with jackets with padded shoulders and whatever else. And
yeah, that
it
was the
just a style.
vibe back
It was-
then. Yeah.
So if he was Toni, you was a person with the first name Toni, middle name Toni, last name Toni, who thought they was hella fly.
I love
So we'd
it.
see somebody walk in the room, we'd be like,
Now,
we
the
thought they
true
was
story is...
just
the
Toni,
true story-
Y'all always come up and be like, actually.
The way I remember
That's it.
was D'Wayne had really kind of curly hair anyway, but he used to put this kit in his hair that make his hair really
Murray's
slick.
grease and the whole it was
So
going
D'Wayne
down.
was
Not
like,
the orange can.
Oh, you had to.
nah. This was a relaxer. And D'Wayne with hair, D'Wayne was a ladies' man, like, for real. I mean, every time, and him and Keith Washington had that same type of hair, you know what I mean?
Oh my God!
It was that
I could have
vibe.
been getting it like Keith.
It was early on. You know what I mean? Early on.
They would start giving it to him
He
tonight.
was slick with
get
the
him
taper.
Keith.
He was tapered up. And D'Wayne said to me, he looked at me, he was doing his hair. He was taking it out of his hair. He looked at me and said, yeah, if I was to go to school today, the first day of school, and roll call, the teacher wouldn't call me D'Wayne. She'd call me Toni, but she had said 3 times. That's the first
Now,
time.
that is a great story.
Now, let me tell you
That's the
something
first
else.
time I heard it.
Great
No.
story.
You want
Terrence.
game. Look at the hairstyles on our first album. and
That's
stuff.
it.
I cut those
That-
hairstyles. Yes.
You did.
Yeah, that was the Toni look. If you had to have this little
Man.
thing up in the front, you know what I mean? Doing it.
Listen,
No, if you look at his hair on the
Stupid.
first album, if you look at his
Yeah.
hair on the first album, that's the Toni's.
That's
He had the best one. Ours was like, we had some generic things going on. That was really D'Wayne. We had some Jerry curls. D'Wayne hair.
Oh, wow.
Dwayne hair was really. He had a real
Like
nice
real live
cut.
Jerry curls? Like the
Nah,
ones you had
it
to
was
keep
dry.
spraying?
We didn't do it. We didn't do
I
it
would
like
have had
that.
Lord Jesus. You wouldn't know nothing about that though.
No, what's...
That's when you had the finger waves, the ooey juice.
Oh,
and-
I do
You know what I mean?
know.
'Cause,
I've
I'm
seen
from
it.
here,
See, Dwayne don't really give
San
himself.
Francisco.
Dwayne don't really give himself enough props. Like if you look at his hair, and you look at our hair on the first album cover, we look kind of like a young mess.
Look at his hair now.
But on the first album, he had it together. He had it
Do
together.
you look back at all of your like
Oh, my God.
pictures
Oh, yeah.
and remember when we had like the music magazines and you
Yeah.
would be in like
Right on.
Word Up and
Right.
all that. So y'all look at that and be like, man.
We were big
but you
fan
know
of
what?
the
That was
Bynum
the
Brothers.
style.
I'm glad we had albums. Our album came out when it came out because if it had been like 4 years before,
Yeah.
it'd be all bad.
Oh
With
yeah.
the pictures.
What you mean?
If they would have caught me like in the 7th or 8th grade, like how New Edition was earlier,
Yeah.
I'm glad that we didn't get
It-
on.
Oh, that was
that
that was
was-
BC.
It was before,
Before crack.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So
I'm just saying.
so
Tony's BC.
I too love Biggie's reference, "Make Me Feel Good" like Toni.
Yeah.
And even when they put "Feels Good," I'm on there.
Yeah.
And I know, Raphael, you said that was like one of your favorite references. Why is that? Out of
Yeah, I'm a
all the
Biggie
ones?
fan, and it just when the a new genre like hip hop wasn't new. It was kind of when we came out too. But to have somebody like Biggie, who referenced our name, it's like that was hot. It's and Biggie's the man. He's a lyricist. You know what I mean? His pen is
Yeah.
crazy, and also Outkast did too.
I was about to say, are there any other artists that you guys love that kind of, shouted you out or had a reference, and you're like, oh, that's dope.
Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang.
Clan,
Wu-Tang.
Sugar free.
Sugar Free.
Okay.
It's a few. I mean, that just means that you represent a vast, audience of people, different genres of music. So, it's good to be respected by your peers, 'cause,
Absolutely.
Keeps it good.
So what would you say, like, I know it's hard because you have so many classics and hits. So it's hard to pick like one, like this is my favorite song ever. But what's a song that you love performing that is always fun, you look forward to performing? Does it change every time you guys get together? Or do you have that one song? This for each of y'all.
Me, wow. It's hard to say because, since we've been rehearsing and jamming and doing these shows now.
It's just like, one continuous.
I realized, man, these songs that never were released, I really dig. Like when we was doing "Tell Me Mama" and the whole bit on the stage, like man, it gave me a feeling back on the days when I heard the Jacksons and all that. So it's not like it's hard to say I have a favorite. I love them all, but of course I'm going to say I like when we get down to "Let's Get Down" and "Feels Good" and the party's moving. Yeah, and "Anniversary" and
yeah.
Can't keep it to myself.
It doesn't stop.
Okay.
We got a lot of material. We on that stage 2.5 hours. And it's hits
but you said Tim had gotten
back.
to a zone where he just went out and just like, so I'm like,
yeah, he wrote a whole song on stage.
I know you have something that you love.
Yeah,
to
can't keep it to
perform.
myself.
Yeah.
Can't keep it to myself with the song.
Yeah.
It's feeling good on stage right now.
Yeah.
And the story of how that came together, Ali on the mix of the drums and everything, and we were in Trinidad when he sent the track, and
Mr. Shahi from Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
So that fusion right there, the Quest and Toni.
Yeah.
Cold vibe.
I think my favorite would be "Loving You" right now.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite right there.
You like all of them, D'Wayne.
I like them all.
You like
It's hard.
performing just.
I'll lose myself in the moment sometimes. I get distracted because we wrote the songs and all that, but I guess I was really living in the moment. I was celebrating. It was about everything that went on. I was in the moment.
It's hard to be present a lot of times because you guys are on the move. You put this record out or this, song, and then you move on to like the next thing. And so, have you ever taken the time to really feel it? And this is like, even when y'all were starting out, did you guys take the time to be like, wow, like we put this together? Or was there a moment when you felt like, hey, we contributed a big part to the music industry and gotten your flowers? Because I want to give y'all your flowers, of course, for being able to sustain in this industry and classic songs and all of that. Did you guys feel that?
I think for me, I could reflect after. I couldn't reflect until after maybe 11 years.
Okay.
I think I was in some vacation or something, and I was sitting somewhere, and it just kind of hit me like, whoa, wow, this is crazy. It happened.
Yeah.
But even now, being back with the guys and being on the road, playing the songs now is a little different than playing them, years ago.
Yeah.
Now you can reflect and you can look back at the moment when you wrote them. And all the artists that you toured with back in the day, and everybody worked at the label, and all the friends you met along the way, and then to see an audience now on this tour singing all the songs is pretty amazing. To look at an audience singing "Loving You" back to us, every word, even sometimes when I might forget a word or two, the audience kind of like pick you up and they keep going.
They'll finish it because y'all have diehard fans. So even if you do forget, I'm sure y'all don't forget y'all lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Y'all don't forget y'all lyrics.
Just mix them up.
Oh, right.
I mean, it's because yes, I will.
Feels good.
Yeah, D'Wayne,
sure,
D'Wayne just walks away from the mic when it's his turn to sing. I'm like, yo, what you doing? The other night I had to
That's
kill
the
him.
ADD setting in.
He just took off from the mic. I'm like, hey, what you
Remember
doing?
we singing Baby Doll last night, and I was over there partying. You
I'm
said,
like, hey.
I ain't trying to. Oh, play no games.
I love that. It sounds like you guys have fun on stage. Can you tell me one moment or accomplishment that you guys are proud of to have shared together that you were just like, was it when you found out your song was Grammy nominated, and just as a brotherhood, you guys were in it together?
I'll say this for me. It's never been about awards to us. I'm not a Grammy person. I'm not.
Oh, I just
really
use that.
I know.
I know
not,
you're not.
I'm not.
I
You know what I mean? But
like,
I would have to say now, us getting back together and
wow,
listening to the music and coming back to our day ones and fans and other kids who just finding out about us, who get to learn something from us, we get to learn something from them. I'm learning more about being with family. I think this is the biggest. This is the biggest time. I mean, sometimes it's kind of emotional. We have to try not to be emotional on stage because you don't want to start, break down and like,
It's okay. We love that too.
Yeah.
Y'all,
We're getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
It's a lot of love. I would say now for me now is the reward. The other ones are like pretty big too. Working with different people. Just getting the respect. People use respect very loosely.
Right.
But you can't buy respect. You have to earn it. And, we earned it. We've been through stuff with each other. We've been through things with other people. We've been, taken advantage of, and didn't cry about it. Just stood up and was like, "Yo, that was crazy, right?"
Yeah.
And looked at each other and just laughed and like, let's go.
Like you have an account that's still about 300 racks in the whole
Yeah.
bit, and you'd be like, you will go open on them, but you like
Employees stealing money.
you gotta take like, you know what, you just paid for a great.
Seemed like that number was
college
always
experience
300 from everybody. 400.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
took
mean,
3 million.
But
It's
see,
just like,
so you can't count dollars. Take care of yourself. You the money. That's how I look at it.
you have to take care of the pennies and the dollars to take care of themselves. If you slip, you get caught slipping, you gonna slip. They out there. But I will say we didn't like
Let it hold y'all back from anything.
You really have to love what you do. Whatever you do in this world, whatever job you do, you gotta love it. Even if you don't really like the job, you gotta love it for the time you're doing it. But we love music, so we lucked up to do something we really love.
And because y'all love music so much, I do want to know, what do you think is missing, or what do you think has been added to R&B that you can kind of point out? Like, what is maybe missing on your, if you don't think anything is missing, what has been added that you could say that contributed to, the great music lately?
I would say,
I like how Tim, he listens to the question, he be like,
yeah, because he always wants me to answer that question. Because I can't name the artist right now because I listen to a lot of music, right? But everybody know who I'm talking about, and I think it's some really, really good music right now, really good R&B. But they had nowhere to go. They had to do it because they was forced, because labels really don't care what they're putting out. So those kids who know what it is, they drawn to something good, and they're on their way to doing great music.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anything is missing. I just think it's gonna come back around, and some kid is gonna come and be the new LeBron of music. You got Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
That dude pen is crazy. You got her, which D'Wayne worked with Gabby, Destiny Child. There's so many. Thundercat. You got Kamasi. How about some names?
Because a lot of artists now are reaching back to the 90s.
It's no place to go. They got to go.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else to go.
And it lets you know, like, how impactful your music is and was to other people. Like, oh, let's go grab this. And then it's crazy because some of the music that they grab is actually a sample from music from the 70s and 80s, too. Yeah. So it really is recycling.
We're sampled a lot now, but, even when we came out, I don't think I don't call myself a producer because I'm with these guys, right? So if I'm with them, it's no producer in the room really. It's just we're all together, and at the end of the day, we just got to get the job done. When it's done, we all did it. It's like a band. But I would say down with artists, it's probably a struggle because it's a lot of competition with just things that it's probably hard to keep the content clean, right? If you're a girl, you're a guy, you gotta be like, you gotta outdo everybody on content, on saying something crazy.
Who could get the who
can get the what?
The nastiest something they say is something else.
Yeah, you gotta win.
I was about to follow
shocking
up with that,
attention type of vibe. No.
Yes. I know what you mean.
Really like I'm honored that when people recover our songs, and stuff, and I've always believed in, that's a beautiful thing. When Chris Brown did, then everybody, all this stuff. So I'm like, wow, when they did the anniversary thing with the dance and the whole thing, and hey baby, hey, I'm just like, this is so dope that our music. But the point is that I like that artists are performing live again, because I love live performance. Every artist I mentor to work with, from Destiny's Child to the girl Her or Keisha and all that, I was like, hey, if you can't perform before 2 or 3 people, learn this first. You know what I mean?
Coco Jones, Victoria Monet, they're a lot
take it to the to the people, and it's once you the people accept you. The music just becomes the score to your life.
So when y'all say that, then you're working on new music. So where do you go from there?
Oh, we go back to the well. The well never get dry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I go back to the well. I mean, it's one way with us.
Yeah.
We're back to the well right now.
It's just
For real.
it's like good music because I feel like everybody, I have a lot of friends, like Steve Lacy, and I have a lot of cool friends who sometimes we don't really work together. We talk about music and talk to label people.
Steve Lacy, is that I Wish I Knew You?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah.
But when I talk to people, I say, the funny thing is everybody want to be hot, right? And that's a good thing, but you can't forget about being good at the same time, right? You got to be good because hot gets cold and good just lasts forever. And I feel like we were just good. We got hot. We had hot records, but a lot of our stuff was just noted to be good, and that's why we can, come back 30-something years later, and sell out shows because people are sort of like, the energy out here is vibration is low in the world. It's way low.
Right.
So that vibration we didn't even know what we were doing when we first started making records. We went in the studio not knowing how to produce any records. We just went in the studio, they gave us money, and we just looked at each other like, damn, we did take their money, so I guess
we gotta go ahead.
When we come back out, we should have some product, right? Yeah. I think that was it.
But we never knew how to cut off a project. Our managers used to be like, look, the album's done. We're like, we got one more. We just had we would never stop. It's crazy.
So when do you expect the new music, like the new album and everything to come out? Like, are y'all releasing some unheard, unreleased tracks, some
definitely.
stuff that y'all had in the vault? Like, you know what?
Man.
Let's jazz this one up. Let's put our touches on it. Or
we do have a couple, like D'Wayne wrote this song he's always talking about. So we have that, right now. Tim is bringing music. It's something we get together and write music. But I think we're gonna do it exactly how we did it and see what we come up with. But we were working on it before we went on tour, but we couldn't do both, right? Tour and make an album. It would have been great to have the album before we came out, but we're touring in 24 too. So I felt like
double album. We should just tour. In every state. How about that?
Look,
that would be called. Every city.
No.
Like, wait. They like, hold on.
This world ain't ready for double albums more. The attention span is too fast. Yeah. You gotta give them like 8 things and go, here, check this out.
Please don't give us 2-minute songs though.
I
need the songs to be longer. Like a lot of songs are shorter these days. I'm like, we want to hear y'all.
But they only do that because radio records it. It goes to Billboard after 30 seconds?
No, I think it was 45.
45?
Something like that.
I remember when I saw that at a radio station, it was like, we got it.
But everybody's attention span is what now?
No, but I think
this is out.
We have a record though. We do have one record called Humble.
Okay.
It's called Humble. And
any features that y'all have or people you want to work with? Are you guys going to bring like newer artists to work with or reach back and get some of the, classic 90s artists? Like, what are your plans for that? Y'all haven't gotten there yet.
Nah, you way ahead of us. But I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a collabo with somebody, I'm definitely, but we're not going to depend on collabos. That's just not sort of my style.
Okay.
To do that. But if a great one comes along, of course, one that makes sense and doesn't look too thirsty, like we trying to get a hot record.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Like I'm trying to do this. I just want you to listen to it. And if you like it, come see us.
Oh, I love it. All right. So, final question.
My boy Yancey in the back, like, no, you want to get Bruno Mars on the shut up.
Hey, listen. Wait. Speaking of that, the collab, can I just go back to Linwood Rose?
Wow.
Would you ever revisit?
Wasn't that a group?
I know y'all. Yeah, I know.
Me, D'Angelo.
Yeah, because that was when I read about that. I'm like, wow. Like, what do you think that would have done? Like, because at that time it was like, wow.
Yeah, well, I talked to they're really good friends. Me and Q-Tip, we talk at least twice a week.
Okay.
And D is not that often, but we really tight brothers. But let me tell you, I told both of them. I said, look, y'all the last weird ass friends I'm gonna ever have. and no, I don't want no more weird friends. And no, we're never doing an album together.
He's stupid for that one. Because it's so true. But you know what though?
I told them this is how we
creative.
talk.
Them the ones that inspire you.
Means creative.
I tell you.
That's how we all talk, though. You know, we got to be here.
Weird brings the best ideas and all of that.
I mean, they both are. And they both are like, to be around one of them at a time is like the most amazing thing. I mean, we all get on the phone and make jokes.
Together, all together.
They levitate literally.
That's funny.
You know, that's it. All three of us in the room is some weird.
Weird. Okay, so what would the title track be for the soundtrack of your lives right now? Like, if you could think of like, what would that song be? What would that title track be?
What? The title of it?
Like, yeah, like what in this moment, how you're feeling right now, everything you've been through, all the emotion of it. If you had to like write that one title song, like what would that be for you?
I would say it would be called Let's Raise 'Em Up.
Let's Raise 'Em Up. Okay. Tim, you.
Let's raise them up.
I love this.
Right. You got, if you do it, that's the Toni.
It would simply just be, it's up.
It's up. Okay.
Same thing. Same thing.
And he turned around.
Same thing.
Pretty much. It's up.
It's up.
It's
No,
up.
it is.
Everything's exposed. We know that America is faking us out. We know the education, they didn't fool us. We know that, you know what I mean? It's, come on, man. It ain't no glass ceiling right now. We winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about money. You know, if you follow your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. It's
Facts. Facts. My slogan, no plans, all vibes.
Yeah.
Man, that's what I live
it.
by. So, oh my gosh, Just Me and You tour. I know, like, y'all are going to have so much fun together because it's already apparent, like now, just speaking with you guys, that y'all joke around, y'all have a good time, and y'all are legends in this. So I want y'all to soak up all of the energy that you're getting from fans like myself. And when you look out into that audience and you hear people singing the songs like they wrote them, I want y'all to know how much of an impact you had on so many people. And thank you so much for everything that y'all have done and created and all of that. I'm like screaming inside right now. Like,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Tony.
Thank you, really.
Yes. Raphael Saadiq, D'Wayne Wiggins, and Timothy Riley. Toni. Thank you so much for coming in today. And y'all make sure you go check them out on the road. We're waiting for the album. I don't know when it's going to come. It sounds like 2025 at this point. And Bruno Mars may or may not be on the album. Keep it right here, DMV. It's Magic 102.3 and 92.7.